family and I were first-hand witnesses to her steady deterioration. Ultimately, we watched her lose herself in the battle. As her daughter and her primary caregiver, I can say that it was an honor and a privilege to care for her. And yet, it is only now, after the passage of time, that I am beginning to truly breathe freely. I am just beginning to feel the benefits from the passage of time. Time has finally allowed me to feel relatively stress-free. I am not feeling the burden and sense of being overwhelmed by all the decisions for her welfare and the daily reality of watching my mother's steady deterioration. I now have more control of my daily schedule. In the past, I had to be mindful of my mother at every step. I once went on a walk one day to ironically benefit Alzheimer's research and received a frantic call from my mother's primary caregiver that my mother had violent diarrhea. And this caregiver did not generally get hysterical, but stated that it was so bad that she was covered head to toe, all over the carpet and everything else. Needless to say, I did not complete the walk. Personally, I experienced many physically related stress issues during this period, from violent headaches to a terrible ongoing stomach problems. I lost my ability to sleep and have a restful night. Every night before I went to bed, I would check on her. I would often get up during the night to make sure she was in bed and that she was still literally breathing. The process of being her caregiver was all-consuming. I lived it, I breathed it. There's a well-known expression from the medical field about being a passenger on the train. Those of us who are caregivers are not just passengers. We are all breathing and dealing with the stress on a daily basis. I am a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. I have always worked full-time. Under normal conditions, each of these things adds pressure and stress. And then I added the care of my mother. I had the support of my amazing family and friends who felt my stress. And yet this only added additional pressure because sometimes throughout our entire family system, we're yearning for a different normal. So, as not to increase the burden on anyone else, ultimately I carried the responsibility and burden. There is that incredible sense of isolation that no one else really understands how you feel and what you are going through. It is in recognizing my struggles that my brother and sister-in-law, Jeff and Nancy Hallis, endowed this wonderful, incredible program with the support of everyone from the Alzheimer's Foundation. I want to thank them for making this possible. The foundation recognizes everything I'm talking about. The caregivers are not just passengers on the train, but we are the conductors, responsible for where the train is going and how it will get there. And so even under the most horrible of circumstances, when our loved one goes through that dark tunnel from which they will never emerge, a dark tunnel that we can emerge from on the other side, knowing that we did everything possible.